What's up, guys? Welcome back to Near Northonomics. So happy that you're here to talk about all things economic development and take a shot of whatever beverage of your choice every time I say economic development, because I say it a lot. So in case you missed it, my name is Sarah Cook and I'm marketing and communications for Almaguin Community Economic Development. And the last couple of weeks, I had the opportunity to sit down with Ontario's Minister for Economic Development, Job Creation and Trade, Mr. Vic Fedeli, to talk all things ec dev. So in this, the interview is quite long, so we're going to break that into two parts. So in this episode, we're going to talk about key industries driving growth in Northern Ontario, provincial supports, and long-term goals for economic development in the Near North region. So I'll cut the chit-chat right now, and let's talk industry with Mr. Vic Fedeli in Northern Ontario.
Well, as you look around here, I'll go back to what I said earlier, mining. Think about Sudbury as the nickel capital of the world. Think about Timmins as the gold capital. Put them together and you're here in the Almaguin-Nipissing area where we make equipment. So mining is really important. We've got the Ring of Fire in Northern Ontario, in the far north, that is being developed. They've made an announcement they're going to process their nickel in Sudbury. Going to be huge economic development opportunities. So mining, it's been here 100 years. It'll be here another 100 years because we've got tremendous resources. Forestry, very important to Northern Ontario. All of the housing that is built, whether it's here or in Southern Ontario or down in the US, all takes lumber, and all of that lumber needs to be, the trees need to be felled, the bark taken off, the logs or the logs sawed for lumber, all of that sawdust used, all of that chips that are made used, and all of the end cuts used. We make everything from explosive to aspirins with all of the byproducts from wood.
Interesting.
So, yeah, it's really fascinating. And then we've got agriculture. Two little known facts. 50% of all the canola grown in all of Ontario is grown in Northern Ontario.
That's awesome.
It's an amazing fact. The second, 20% of all of the oats grown in Ontario are grown in Northern Ontario, a little farther north than here. So agriculture is very big business all throughout the north, whether it's raising crops or raising cattle. It's an important sector. I will say around North Bay, the film industry has become a booming industry, employing hundreds and hundreds of people. You know, in Sudbury as well, in the Sioux, and a little bit in Timmins, but really around North Bay, the film sector is very big.
Lumber. It's not just for houses. Crazy, right? As Fedeli said, there are quite a few industries in Northern Ontario, and it's very exciting to see the film industry taking advantage of the beauty of the region. Next up, I asked what initiatives specifically the province had in place to support economic development in the north.
So the biggest one would be the Northern Ontario Heritage Fund. I mean, that is $100 million a year. But not just the capital investments for companies, although those have really created unbelievable amount of jobs in Northern Ontario. There's a Northern Ontario electricity program as well that's very, very important for families, or I'm sorry, for businesses. This is 2 cents a kilowatt hour cheaper electricity than anywhere else in Ontario. And that's a bonus for Northern Ontario.
The NOHFC is active in providing funding for various initiatives across the north, but I had to know, what is the province's long-term goals for economic development?
I think the big things that are happening that we've made major changes in, think about automotive. It's been in Ontario since 1900. So it's been here 125 years, but never includes Northern Ontario. Autos are all down south. Well, now with electric vehicles, all of those batteries need cobalt, nickel, lithium, all things that we mine in Northern Ontario. So the Premier has said, we're going to continue to mine these things in the north, but we want you now to process them in the north. So I would say between now and Christmas, you will hear an announcement of a lithium hydroxide facility. This will be $1 billion business that will go into somewhere probably around Thunder Bay area, northwest, because that's where the lithium mines are. They're further north than Thunder Bay, but they're in that area. this is very exciting. We're helping the North by including them for the first time in 125 years as part of the auto sector. They're now in that whole auto game of EVs, and that's very, very exciting.
So there you have it, friends. Ontario's Minister for Economic Development, Job Creation and Trade laid out some fine points on the current economic landscape in the North. Thank you so much to Mr. Fedeli for taking the time to chat with me, and please keep an eye on Almaguin Community Economic Development's Facebook page for more of the conversation. That's it, and we'll see you next time.